Hey guys, this is Jake from 12th Fret Media, still here at NAMM 2023. Now we are in the Media Center with Miles of the Studio Musicians Academy. Miles, tell us a little bit about Studio Musicians Academy. What is it that you guys have to offer the music community?
It's an opportunity for us as studio musicians to kind of lift the veil and show people what it is that we do with it. You know, it's not really cool to be able to be like bringing in people to the session and be like, hey, here's 20 people that aren't getting paid to hang out. The idea is to sort of bring people to a session and put them in our brains in terms of how we approach things. You know, where you can't get that information without being there. Like that's the only way you can get it.
Very true, and I can say even myself when I was a younger musician, and I think with a lot of younger musicians still today, there is the misconception that I'm a really good player, I'm pretty good, if I get better, I can just be a studio musician. But I think there's a bit more as we learn involved to it than that. Can you tell us a little bit about what goes into being a studio musician?
I'm a terrible drummer, like not a good drummer. Technically speaking, not a good drummer, but I know how to serve a song and I know how to work within the confines of other players and listen to them and, you know, play off of what they're doing, play off of what the vocal's doing, and just it's not even about your instrument so much as it is everything else. And it's the everything else that we're trying to focus on.
And speaking of that, drumming specifically, could you tell us a little bit about your background, your accomplishments in music? Because I understand you've been a part of several bands.
I have. I was in Paramore for a little bit. I toured with Kelly Clarkson for a while. I played with Tonic for a few years. But mostly I just do studio stuff, which I like way better.
And what is it about it that you like?
You get to be creative. You know, I'm constantly trying to reinvent myself every hour. It's just this constant evolution of trying to be better and different and still have something relevant to bring to the table.
So if someone were to go to your website, sign up for some courses or some lessons there at Studio Musicians Academy, what kind of things are they going to learn from the ground up? Where would they start?
It's interesting because where they would start is in the minutia of what we do in a studio. It's not about, I mean, yes, we deal with some of the more global concepts in terms of charting and some of the theory that goes into that, but primarily it's what happens in our brains that we don't even say out loud on a session. So they get the nitty-gritty kind of right off the bat.
Nice, and as they go through that a bit more, what are some things they can come to expect? What can be their takeaways from enrolling in this course or these sessions?
Well, you get to learn from all of our mistakes, which we've made many.
We all have, yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of that is, you know, there's been a lot of trial and error on our part as far as how to do this whole thing, and we've watched the guys above us, but we never had as much access to them as we would have liked. So, you know, it's really cool that these guys now have this instant access to experience that, you know, nobody has had before. This is a new thing that we're able to do. So,
very true. I found that in most cases we kind of eventually get there on our own, but no one's ever given us a roadmap. So with that roadmap in hand, I mean, takeaways from being a studio musician, charting, things like that. How big of a component is it to just being able to listen to what the song needs and listen to what the band is doing?
That's almost all of it. It truly is, because that should be what influences 99% of your decisions. Because the thing is we've all had those experiences where you sit and talk about a song or a musical concept, and then once you get down and you have several different people playing it, it's totally not what you talked about at all.
Very true.
And then you have to be able to adapt very quickly, and that's what being a studio musician is about. Primarily is just being able to flip on a dime and go, okay, this is what the song wants, and this is how we get there. So that's the big thing. Very
true, and you never know. There are some bands that might want to turn at the stop of a dime and go into something. Being able to adapt is a big part of it.
Yeah, it's huge, and that really is what we focus on the most, is how to adapt, but first how to look for the cues that say that you need to adapt, that you need to try something different. You know, we have gone through many, many years of producers saying things to us almost in code, like, what if we were to try a different snare drum or something? You know, to me means this is all bad, everything sucks, we gotta totally revamp everything. but all they're saying is like, maybe it's not the right snare.
True, and it could be the room, could be the snare, could be the stick. You never know, but we got to try, right?
Yeah. So we're trying to help people understand what those little coded messages mean, and especially the things that are unsaid and the things that people are just playing, or things that are happening in the vocal, or there's things that producers say when you start a session that you can glean things from, where they say like, and they're just trying to rock more. And so it's like with each song you have that in the back of your mind, okay, we're trying to be more aggressive with it. So sonically we need to be more aggressive, part-wise we need to be more aggressive. So, just that sort of insight.
And I think decoding those type of things is definitely going to be helpful, because I would assume someone who's just starting out in that world, that one comment from the producer could be misconstrued for criticism when it's really not.
Yeah. And I think all of us as younger players took everything wrong that was said to us in the first few sessions that we had, because we're so insecure. And so another part of what we're doing is reassuring people like, hey, no news is good news. If they're not asking you to change the part or anything, you don't necessarily need to be begging for affirmation. Just trying to let people know what it's like on your first session, what to prepare for, the crying you're gonna do when you get in the car afterwards.
Yeah, anyone who's ever been in a jazz band knows if the director's not looking at you, you're good.
Great, everything's fantastic. As long as you're not in the spotlight, you're doing just fine.
Exactly. Now, if someone wanted to get more info, if they wanted to see the course or even sign up, where would they need to go?
StudioMusicianAcademy.com, Geo! StudioMusicianAcademy.com.
There we go, 12th Rep Media here at NAMM 2023. Thank you again, Miles. We appreciate it. Check these guys out online.